The city of Charleston had long prided itself on its historic charm and vibrant community. But on one fateful evening, its streets bore witness to a harrowing and all-too-familiar injustice, an incident that would spark a nationwide debate on racial profiling, police misconduct, and the fragility of respect earned through service. Brigadier General Victoria "Vicky" Hayes, a decorated war hero with over 3 decades of service in the United States Army, had returned home to celebrate her promotion. She was an embodiment of resilience and discipline, having led countless missions abroad, mentoring young cadets, and breaking barriers as one of the highest-ranking Black women in the military. But none of her accolades would matter that evening. None of them would shield her from the assumptions of a prejudiced officer who saw her skin before her uniform. The walk that changed everything. After an evening dinner with close friends at a local bistro, Vicky decided to take a short walk home. The streets of Charleston were quiet, save for the occasional laughter of couples strolling past boutique shops and the hum of distant traffic. The crisp autumn air felt refreshing against her skin as she walked, lost in thought, reminiscing about the years of dedication that had led to her latest promotion. Unbeknownst to her, Officer Daniel Briggs, a 6-year veteran of the Charleston Police Department, was parked a block away. Earlier that night, a 911 call had come in about an alleged break-in at a nearby jewelry store. The description given: a Black woman in dark clothing. Vicky, clad in black slacks and a navy jacket, fit the vague description. Briggs watched her for a few moments, suspicion festering within him. He convinced himself that her confident stride was an act of nonchalance, that the glint of her gold bracelet under the streetlight might be stolen jewelry. He didn't hesitate. He flipped on his cruiser's sirens and pulled up beside her. The confrontation. "Ma'am, stop where you are. Hands where I can see them," he barked, stepping out of his vehicle with one hand on his firearm. Vicky froze. The sudden blaring of the sirens had already startled her, but the officer's tone sent a familiar, unpleasant chill through her spine, one she had experienced before as a Black woman in America. "Excuse me?" she said, her voice measured but firm. "I said, put your hands up. You match the description of a suspect in a robbery." Vicky slowly raised her hands, her military training kicking in. She had handled hostage negotiations, faced down insurgents, and given commands on battlefields, but here, on a peaceful street in her own country, she found herself at the mercy of a man who had already decided she was guilty. "Sir, there's been a misunderstanding. I am Brigadier General Victoria Hayes of the United States Army. I live 3 blocks from here. If you'd allow me to reach for my identification." "Keep your hands where I can see them," Briggs interrupted, now fully convinced she was attempting to talk her way out of an arrest. "Turn around. Face the wall." A crowd had started to gather. Some passers-by pulled out their phones, recording the encounter, murmurs of concern spreading among them. Vicky took a deep breath. She was aware that any sudden movement could escalate the situation. "Officer, listen to me. My military ID is in my jacket pocket. I am not resisting. But you are making a mistake. Call your superior." But Briggs was past the point of reason. He lunged forward, grabbing her wrist and forcefully yanking it behind her back. Years of military conditioning had taught her how to react to sudden aggression, but she willed herself to stay calm. Any resistance could be twisted into assaulting an officer. The cold steel of handcuffs clicked around her wrists as a woman in the crowd shouted, "That's General Hayes." "What are you doing?" Others echoed the sentiment, and the energy in the air shifted. Briggs hesitated. His grip on her tightened for a moment before his own superior's voice crackled through his radio, summoning him back to the station. The fallout. An hour later, after being taken to the precinct and humiliated by an unnecessary booking process, Vicky sat in an interrogation room, her hands resting on the table, still calm but fuming inside. The precinct's captain, an older Black man named Captain Morris, entered the room, his face a mixture of frustration and regret. "Brigadier General Hayes, I am so deeply sorry for this," he said, rubbing his temple. "Officer Briggs acted rashly and without proper verification." "Rashly?" Vicky's voice was steady but icy. "Captain, I have commanded troops in combat zones where the rules of engagement were stricter than the way your officer handled me tonight. He made up his mind about me the moment he saw me." Morris sighed. "I won't defend him. He's been suspended pending an investigation, and I intend to see that the matter is handled appropriately. But General Hayes, if there's anything—" "I don't need apologies," she cut in. "I need accountability." I need to know that the next black woman walking home won't be thrown against a wall because she matched a description." Morris nodded solemnly. "I understand, and I assure you, we'll take this seriously." But Vicky had heard those words before. She knew systemic change took more than promises in a dimly lit interrogation room. The reckoning. The video of the incident went viral within hours. News outlets picked up the story. A respected war hero, manhandled and detained over a false accusation, purely because of the color of her skin. The military community was outraged. Politicians spoke out. Protesters gathered outside the Charleston Police Department, demanding justice. Briggs was fired, but Vicky knew the problem was bigger than him. It was about how law enforcement viewed black bodies as threats first, individuals second. She used the incident as a rallying cry. She spoke at panels, worked alongside police reform advocates, and pushed for better de-escalation training and accountability measures within law enforcement agencies. Her rank had not protected her that night, but her voice would ensure it never happened to someone else. A question to the nation. As Vicky stood on the steps of the courthouse weeks later, addressing a crowd of thousands, she asked them the same question she had been turning over in her mind since that fateful night. If a brigadier general can be treated like this, what happens to those without a title to shield them? The crowd fell silent, the weight of the question settling over them, because the answer was all too clear. And this brings us to the end of the story. Thank you for watching till the end. I hope you enjoyed the story. If you did, don't hesitate to like the video and share it with your friends too. Subscribe our channel and turn on the notification bell for more fascinating stories. Have a nice day.